Great afternoon. It is 3:02 and have another mega announcement. So everybody out there that is tuning in, thank you once again for following and tuning in on this live broadcast. I'm bringing you guys an amazing guest today. I'm super excited to bring them up here in a little while. I just wanted to share with you guys my excitement. I mean, it is Friday, and this week alone, we've already had several announcements. And this next individual that I'm going to bring up, you guys are going to be super excited about. He's someone that's been in the industry, in the real estate industry for 7 years, and has been at one brand, and the entire time, has definitely done really tremendously well in the business, had leadership positions, and this is an individual that I highly respect, and you guys are going to be excited to meet him. So I'm just going to wait a little bit here just to build up the audience a little bit. But thank you for those of you that are already tuning in. I already see a couple of you tuning in into the live broadcast. But yeah, I'm really excited, and let's get it going. So are you guys ready to meet our newest eXp shareholder? If you guys are listening in, are you guys ready for it? So, yeah, I know, right? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tap him in right now. Let me see it. Go ahead now. Three, two, one, boom! Mr. Alan Forniss, welcome, welcome.
Hey guys, hey, thank you, Leo. Appreciate it, man.
Welcome, my brother. Thank you so much for being on this live today, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, broski. So what's up, man? Tell everybody. I mean, you're here. We're doing
Yeah,
a big announcement for yourself. But before we even get to the details of why you decided to make that move, why don't you fill everybody in on who you are, bro? Tell them your story. How'd you get started in this industry?
yeah. So I actually started back in '99, working in a mortgage company, and it was a family friend. He owned a mortgage company and said, "Hey, you want to learn the real estate game?" And I'm kind of like, doesn't sound too,
Yeah.
fascinating. But at the end of the day, I needed a job, so he's like, "Look, come work for me." I get there. And I give a lot of credit to this one individual because he's the one who really got me being comfortable by being on the phone. And as you know,
Mm,
and for those of you who know me, I'm a really big prospecting agent. So I
yeah.
hit FISBOs, expireds. I know you did as well at one
Dude, we
point.
used to be next to
I
each other
know.
calling every morning.
Maybe,
We did the
yeah, I'm like, what?
affirmation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? Hey, he got a listing appointment. I got to get two now.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I started off doing that. I worked for him for about a year as an intern. And then when I started realizing, like, hey, there's some money to be made here, and a career, obviously, that's when I went ahead and got my license and, did that for about maybe 8 years until that market started to take a little bit of a nosedive.
Right.
And then I ventured into the REO world. So I started doing REOs, working with, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, um, kind of just looking over the property preservation departments. And then once that kind of dwindled, then I, got my license reinstated and then started doing real estate in 2013.
Right on,
So,
bro. It was a good
yeah,
year. Good year to
yeah.
start.
It
Yeah.
was. It was definitely a great year. Rookie of the year with Keller Williams, which was a huge accomplishment. I think I did something like 21 or 22 sides my first year, which me being naive, I didn't realize that that was
Oh,
exceptional
shit.
because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know any better, which was probably a good thing because if I
What a
would have
blessing.
known, yeah, if I would have
Yeah.
known, I probably would have been a little bit more, had more pressure put on myself. But at the end of the day, it definitely was a blessing for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's my
I always share with people that is specifically what you're saying is that it was a blessing for myself also when I joined the industry. I didn't have any perspective to what the national averages were. I
right.
didn't know, dude, and it's kind of good because if I would have looked at the national average of like, hey, we got 6 deals a year, I think it's a national average, coast to coast. That's
Right.
It was good. Yeah, so that's a great point that you brought up, brother.
Yeah, definitely. So, I started my career, like I said, with Cal Williams, and that was in the city of Corona. I was there for about maybe 4 years until I made the switch over to the Newport Beach office. And I just felt like a fish out of water because obviously it's a new demographic, new market center, trying to learn, the culture for the office, but more so the actual city itself.
That's gold, bro.
Um,
Yeah, that's a
so,
big move, bro.
yeah, it was definitely a big move, but you know what? It paid off. Majority of my business still comes from the Riverside Inland Empire area. But I do a lot of deals in Orange County as well as LA County. And again, because the fact that I prospect FSBOs and expireds, it kind of takes my business kind of all over the map within Southern California. But at the end of the day, I do contribute a lot, again, the prospecting side of things to the broker that I was working for, because he told me, hey, you see those boxes? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, pull those files out and start calling. I'm like, well, what do I say? Because it doesn't matter. Just tell them they need to refinance. The rates are great. So, it
Yeah.
definitely got me comfortable with being on the phone. And of course, getting hung up on, because that's part of the game. It's a numbers game. We all know.
Yeah. But that takes courage, brother. That takes a lot of courage, because I think that a lot of people, that they're intimidated of jumping on the phones, man. So
Yeah.
that speaks volumes about the fact that you're courageous, you're willing to take it on, and kind of like no questions asked, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're phenomenal at it, bro. I mean, I've heard you on the phones. I've and I see the listings that you continue to put up. I mean, I think that out of all the people I know, I think you're one of the best guys that I know that are doing for sub owners, expires, all that good stuff, and you're consistent, bro. Consistently hitting it.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, man. Consistency. People always ask me like, "Hey, what's the secret?" And I'm like, "There is no secret. Just you got to just keep on hustling." And at the end of the day, you know, I still get no's. I still get people, at the end of the day telling me no, 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 until you obviously make that sixth, seventh, eighth call, and then finally it's like, hey, this guy is obviously persistent. I can only imagine how he's gonna be once I give him the listing. So
Right.
it does pay off. The consistency definitely pays off.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Well, I mean, now let's talk about a little bit about. I mean, we just heard your story, right?
Yeah.
And you've chosen to take your business over to eXp. So, kind of walk people through that thought process for yourself. How you came to that conclusion.
Yeah. It's funny because I know you and I were talking about this not too long ago, and it's one of those decisions that was a hard decision to make. Obviously, anything that I do or anything I'm involved with, I give 110%. I'm very loyal when it comes to the companies that I work for, and so for me to make the transition, it had to be something where I felt there was value in. There's a ton of agencies out there. Obviously, we know the big names, and of course all the little small boutiques. And at the end of the day, like I told you not too long ago in a conversation, was no matter where I go, I'm going to sell real estate. That's a given. As a newer agent, yeah, you may need a little bit more of the holding of the hand, and the accountability. But at the same time, for me, being a little bit of more of a seasoned agent, I don't feel that I needed that as much as say others. But going back to the whole purpose of why I chose to go with eXp was simply because of um, the passive income that's obviously part of the eXp model.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Keller Williams was a great company. Have no bad things to say about them. They've done right by me. I did right by them. And at the end of the day, like I said, for me, it was more of the bottom line, which was for me the revenue share, which eXp offers, as well as the stock options, because that's huge. That's for me was the game changer. And when I started wrapping my head around more like, hey, where do I want to be in 5 years to 10 years from now? Do I still want to be hustling, grinding it out on the phones? Not necessarily. So if
Right.
there's a way of me being able to still do real estate, but be able to, adapt and adopt some of the elements that eXp offers, then for me, I was kind of like, hey, that's where I need to be. And again, it wasn't an overnight decision.
I know, bro.
As you
Tell
know,
people along the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
I, yeah, Leo, I got to give him credit, man. He definitely was pursuing me for about a year, if not more. Actually, him and Rosie, and but again, with no pressure. It was always just a check-in, like, hey, man, how you been? How you doing? How's everything going? Hey, and by the way, if you still are interested, this. So he was always keeping me abreast of what was taking place within eXp. And for me, like I said, especially now with the pandemic, as we just talked about not too long ago, for me, I started really like taking a step back and kind of resetting my life in different aspects,
Right.
spiritually, obviously, professionally. So when I started looking at, okay, well, where's the market going, and I've always been a firm believer in, well, like I mentioned to you a little while ago, is like what Wayne Gretzky says, don't be where the puck
Yeah,
is, be where the puck's gonna be. So with
that's
that
huge.
mindset, my thing was like, okay, well, eXp obviously has all the tools and systems in place. Because of this pandemic, everyone's kind of scattering, wondering what the next step's going to be. Whereas eXp is like, hey, we're good because we're web based, we're obviously technology driven.
Hmm.
So for me, I'm thinking, well, hey, they're already kind of ahead of the curve in that sense. So
Hmm.
what am I doing by not joining. You know what I mean? So for me, again, it was really me just kind of focusing in on how I wanted to recreate what's already been, my game plan, if you will, and how can I just enhance it.
Right.
And like I said, the what really sold me and was like the cherry on top was the actual, like I said, the revenue sharing and
Yeah.
the stock option.
Yeah. Just the
For
cherry on
sure.
top. I tell that all people all the time. I'm like, look, you're gonna get all of these amazing benefits. You're gonna
Yeah.
get the stock. I mean, I think that people just don't understand like how powerful that is because I ask people all the time, like, look, if you knew that Apple, like, if you could invest in Apple way back when Apple was not Apple, how we know Apple,
Right.
and we could acquire as much stock as possible,
Right.
I think it would be a pretty phenomenal idea to purchase or get your hands on as much as stock.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, that for me was the cherry on top. And again, EXP obviously is very new to the game in the sense in some ways. I know people are like, well, what's EXP? Who's EXP and all? But then again, you got to think that's the same thing with Keller Williams 20 years ago. That's the same with a lot of these other agencies that obviously everyone has to start somewhere. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But the fact that you guys have a system and a model which really coincides with my business that I run now.
Right.
For me, it was like a no-brainer. And of course, I'm not just myself, but my team is also coming, on board. So, we're excited. We're definitely excited to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what the future holds. And we again thank you for keeping persistent and
Yeah, brother.
not giving up, man.
Yeah, thank you for being a yes, and thank you for, I've always been about. I mean, it's a relationship business, bro. This is a small industry. I've always believed, that was one of my first lessons
Yeah.
that my broker told me. So I mean, I just like, man, this is a good dude, and I'm like, and I see who you are, and I'm just like, I know that we're going to be in business one day. And that's why, I mean, I was never attached. I'm like, okay, cool. When are you going to make the move? I'm like, all right, cool, dude. I'm just going to keep sending you information,
Yeah.
just to stay informed.
Yeah.
And then
Definitely.
obviously there was a click, right? And they're like, okay, I'm doing this, right? And like, I'm going to take action on this thing. But
It
that's
took a
how
while,
it is.
but yeah, it definitely, like I said, it wasn't. I don't just jump in, to things without, doing my due diligence and obviously doing some research. At
Yes,
the end of the day,
7
like I
years,
said,
bro.
I,
Yeah.
I totally could have went to any agency for that matter, but for me, it had to. I needed something of value. You know what I mean, and something where I felt like, okay, what can I, take what I've learned with Keller Williams and apply to EXP, but on top of all that, get all the benefits that EXP obviously offers. So
Exactly.
that's kind of what my mindset was. So
Hmm. Very cool, brother.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
thank you for sharing that. And also, I think another question that I have for you. I mean,
yeah,
obviously there's people out there that are either watching it live or they're going to listen to it on the replay, right? I mean, it's going
yeah.
to be out there. So for someone that might be considering making the move, like, what would you say to them now, knowing what you know now, right? Like, what would you say to that individual that's considering, or maybe has even looked at it? Like, what would
Yeah. Well, don't take as long as I did because obviously I probably should have jumped
you
on. I probably should have jumped on board, a lot sooner. But at the end of the day, I mean, do your due diligence. I mean, obviously there's a ton of information out there. You can Google, YouTube it, and you're going to be surprised. You're going to be very surprised in the sense of not only are they, a technology-driven company, but there's tons and tons of tools and resources that they provide. And especially those that, I know some maybe say, well, I'm a brand new agent. I need a little bit more. Believe me, give a call to myself, to Leo. Definitely, I know Leo would be more than happy to walk you through everything. And of course, if he needs to crack the whip and be the accountability coach,
Yeah,
he definitely could
exactly.
be that. But no, for anyone again that's thinking or maybe on the fence, it doesn't hurt to just at least venture and see what this company's about. The first step I think is obviously, do your due diligence, and that's what I did. It took a while, like I said, but at the end of the day, it makes sense. Dollars make sense.
Yeah, like do
So
the math. Yeah, and I told people today, I was like, I put a post out there, and I'm like, do the math. Just like
yeah,
very
yeah,
simple.
yeah,
Look at the numbers. It's
definitely,
you
definitely.
can't get away from that.
Yeah, no, you can't. Definitely.
Yeah,
So I do appreciate you guys again for, like I said, just, staying on top of things and never putting pressure. Just, being a resource, and that's kind of what
absolutely.
that's something that I truly do appreciate.
I appreciate your partnership. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate the opportunity to grow, bro. And this is, I mean, everything prior to this, I
Yeah,
mean, led us to this moment. It's only the beginning, bro, of what's possible. That's
yeah,
what I'm most excited about, man. It's like, all of that moment. And I think that that's one of the biggest things, right? A lot of agencies, I think when you join, it's like, okay, kind of, where do you go from there?
yeah,
This agency, man, every single day, bro, that I've been here, I've been getting more excited, more enthusiastic about it. And that's exactly how I feel about my partnerships. Like when I partner with you, bro, like it's exciting today. And bro, it's gonna be exciting every day and it's gonna compound, man. And it's like that's just the way it's kind of like it's a
yeah.
compounding effect of like amazingness.
Yeah,
So
exactly, exactly. No, and that's another thing. Like I feel like right now I have this burst of energy and excitement that I haven't felt for a while. And I know we all say, "Oh, hey, you got to be your own self motivation," and but sometimes it gets a little hard. You know what I mean? Especially when you're stuck having to work from home. Now because of this pandemic thing going on, it's a little bit harder to get a little jazzed about doing
right,
what we do. But at the end of the day, this has kind of brought an excitement to me because I don't know what the future is going to hold. I mean, I know it's going to be fun. It's going to be a learning curve a little bit, but at the end of the day, I feel that there's so much more that is going to be offered to me to where now, again, I have an excitement about real estate. And I know it sounds funny to say that, or maybe even strange, but sometimes we start questioning ourselves a little bit.
yeah,
At
of
times,
course, of course.
at the end of the day, we feel like, dang, it's just kind of monotonous, and you're just. But I think being able to now put myself in a different I guess a different mindset because now obviously with a different company because there's things to learn, and it's
Exactly.
for me. I don't know. It's exciting all around, and I know my guys on the team are also excited. So again, we just are ready and kind of looking forward to what the future holds with EXP.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. I could tell that we're gonna have a great time working together. And look, Miss Rosie just tuned in.
Hey, Rosie.
Let me actually let her in because she's casually late to the party here. Let
I
Miss
just
Late to the
Rosie,
ball.
what's going
I
on?
just had to give you your time, like your
Aw,
brotherly time there.
yeah, yeah,
You guys
I
are
appreciate
born on the same day, right?
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. That's right. I forgot. April 21st.
Yep,
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
So I just
true.
had to give you that, that moment, Now I'm here.
I appreciate it. I'm like, Rosie, where are you? You're late.
You're
Yeah,
finally here.
Yes, ma'am. I know we were just talking about that, and it took a minute, but I'm the type of person that I definitely don't like jumping into anything without doing due diligence. But more so the fact that I don't like to go hop around from agency to agency. It just doesn't look right. You know what I mean? And I guess the end result would be if everything pans out, which the way I will and think it's gonna, then EXP might be the home for life. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of the goal for me is not to have to do this till I'm 65 years old. I'm hoping by the time I'm 55 that I can kind of kick back a little bit and be able to allow the passive income with the revenue share and all that other good stuff involved.
yeah. And have
Kind
the
of
time to and give it to
right,
others, right? Like,
right,
dude, you are such a like if you really get a perspective of what you've done, what a blessing it is for you to be able to share like your knowledge, right? And we're only going to be
yeah,
able to do that by building a business. So that's kind of like I think the desire of many people, right?
yeah, definitely for sure.
'Cause
And I
Alan,
think yeah,
go ahead.
no, 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 go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things that I don't know all the detail around what you've accomplished, but you actually were a very successful team leader with another company at some point, right?
Correct.
Yep. Keller.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was the Costa Mesa
Okay.
office, Keller Williams. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, that was again a learning experience.
Right.
At the end of the day, it gave me the ability to kind of see another aspect of the real estate world.
Mhm.
Coming from as an agent over to a recruiter. So, again, I don't think it was that big of a difference from what I kind of do now, which we just spoke about this about calling FISBOs and expires. You're basically making cold calls to people trying to get them to buy into what you're offering. And the same thing when it comes to recruiting, just kind of show the benefits and the reason why they need to come and work with you. So
And
Exactly.
I think that's true. However, one of the things that I've experienced because my background is also with Keller and now with
right.
EXP. One of the things that I really noticed that is a big difference is that this is this has been built more on like partnerships and relationships, as
Yeah.
opposed to some of the, bells and shiny objects that, most companies have, right?
Right.
Because everybody
Yeah.
has something. Everybody has training and we have office space and just all kinds of bells and whistles, right? Productivity
Right.
coaches, all this stuff. But all of that, if you're talking to an individual agent,
Yeah.
all of those things don't seem to work very well as a whole.
Right.
Because I don't know about your experience, but mine is just that agents seem to get lost in the shuffle because you are just another agent that was recruited to an office,
Right.
right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, the person who's probably most interested might be the broker, only because your production is going to equal a certain dollar amount to his organization, right?
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
here it's different. Here it's, you're not just an agent who's going to produce a dollar amount. Like, we're partners and we have a
Right.
relationship, and I am 100% vested in your success and the success of your team. And that's a different ball game. Once you have that in place, then you call that support. You
Right.
call that a relationship, not
Yeah.
a recruit,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
I appreciate that, and
Yeah.
definitely, something that, when talking to my team about, the possible move, I told them, I said, look, guys, I understand we got to wrap our heads around. There's not necessarily, brick and mortar in this for the most part, but I think the days of having those big offices and agents not really knowing each other because there's just so many. You know what I mean? It's just I think that mindset needs to be reset for a lot of people. Because I think where the industry's headed is going to be a lot, or very similar to what eXp is already doing. But eXp is obviously already there.
Yeah, yeah. 10 years ahead
We
of the
had a 10
game.
year head start. 10-year head start.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
would, we think, this is what I think about all the time. I said, we think that the decision is kind of crazy for us. I mean, I think about Glenn Sanford, our founder,
Hmm.
2009, coming out of the worst mortgage, the
Market.
worst meltdown in the industry. And he
Right.
said, I'm going to build a cloud-based brokerage.
Right.
Bam.
Well, it's
You know,
funny.
so-
It's funny because he came out with this idea with the technology flag, and most agents were like, well, that's cool, but, I'm still a paper pencil type,
Right.
whatnot, door knocker and stuff. But what people don't understand, or didn't understand back then, and I think people are now starting to understand, is that it's the utilization of the futuristic technology that's going to enable us to do business. We are Amazon, right? During this pandemic, I'll be honest, I mean, everything I ordered
Well, Rosie, you're frozen.
sorry, I'm
Yeah.
back. All of my
Yeah.
groceries were all done on on Instacart, on Amazon,
Yeah.
whatever, Amazon Fresh. Everything was delivered to me. And so
Yeah.
personally, I think we're going to have another, this is a longer journey that we're on. And so we need to adapt now. And those people that adapt now are the people that are going to survive and thrive. Right.
Definitely. Definitely.
And then it wasn't until Glenn
Mhm.
Sanford came on board in 2014 where he understood that, hey, you're waving this technology flag because you're so passionate about helping agents with technology. But you're completely forgetting about the fact that agents are always concerned about the next deal.
Right.
And you start at zero the minute you close, that deal. And next month, every month you start at zero. You
Right.
don't understand how valuable it is for an agent to know that, as they help a company grow, which many good people do. I didn't say agents, good people, right?
Yeah.
When that happens, now you're giving the agent, a partnership interest into this company, and now that person can actually feed their family with that contribution.
Right.
That's huge,
Definitely.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, again, I everything you guys have been saying and sharing with me, not even just today, but just throughout the last year, it's now kind of making sense to me, and yeah, no, and again, as before you came on, Riz, it's because of this pandemic that really had me kind of reset myself a little bit, but kind of like start looking like, where is this industry going, and as you just mentioned, you don't want to jump on when it's too late. You know what I mean? And maybe if I would have listened to you guys a little bit sooner, I would have jumped on a lot quicker. But we all have our journey and our timing. But at the end of the day,
Exactly.
I'm just glad and blessed that I was able to kind of see what you guys have been kind of preaching, and finally say, okay, let's get this party started. So
Let's get
I'm
it.
definitely looking forward and excited to what eXp and the future has to bring.
You're a really smart guy, Ellen. Like when we met, I remember we met at the event. I think it was an Arab event. We connected, and
Oh
I
yeah,
said
that's right.
hi
Yeah,
because I was just following you because you're so funny, right?
you know what? I'm not gonna do real estate anymore. I'm gonna become a
We
comedian.
only work with people who like laugh and joke around and smile. But I think that you're I immediately when I talk to you, like you're a smart guy. You think quickly. You understand your business, and I completely respect the fact that it took you such a long time to make this decision, because you are not a person to make quick decisions,
No,
and you asked
not at all.
10,000 questions,
Yeah,
yeah.
10,001, Rosie. 10,001.
So
exactly.
I'm just very grateful that you actually, you did your homework. You looked at every angle, every aspect. You've been an agent, you've been a team leader, you have a team, you've done, you're very successful on your own. So I just appreciate the fact that, you took your time to make this decision, and it was a smart business decision. It was not a spontaneous emotional one,
No, exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing. I mean, obviously, you can't make decisions off of emotion. At the end of the day, like I said, I could have went to pretty much any agency that has been soliciting me, but I'm not going to go just from one agency that offers the same thing that the other agency is offering. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. But eXp, obviously, I found value. Again, it doesn't matter where I go, I'm going to sell real estate regardless. But what else does the agency that you're working for, what do they bring to the table that's going to add more value to your life and then to your business? And like I said, with the revenue sharing and the stock options, I mean, for me, that was just like, oh wow. I mean, that's I think that was the piece that was missing. On top of all the other stuff that you guys offer, but that right there was for me the part where I said, okay, that's where I need to be. So yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Tell
I
me,
just wish I would have listened to you guys a little bit sooner.
tell me about your team, because you were really concerned about your team too.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, when I make a move or any type of business decision, I always got to keep in mind, like, hey, I have other people that look up to me that I'm kind of like overseeing. So I didn't want to just like make a move and then it not be beneficial to them either. So when I sat down with them, I kind of went over the infrastructure of eXp, and more so fees involved and all that. It was just for them, their eyes just glue like, oh wow, that's amazing. Like, why are we not making this move sooner? But again, like I said, I wanted to do my due diligence. I wanted to talk to a few people, and kind of get their input, because you get one person's side, but then you get two other people saying something totally opposite. You know what I mean? So I really wanted to get different people's input, and everyone's input was pretty similar. Just like, hey, you know what? It's where the industry looks like it's going to be going. The EXP's already there, so it's not like they're trying to scatter and trying to figure out what to do during this time frame. And I was telling Leo, I think in our conversation a couple of days ago, I was like, man, I don't really see the real estate industry ever going back to the way it was. I mean, I think for the most part, we're seeing, because of the pandemic, I think we're seeing an industry and across the board with other industries, but things are going to change. You know what I mean? And you're either stuck in the same old, or you're adapting to what is going to possibly become. And why not get ahead of that? You know what I mean? And I've always been a firm believer in that. Just look where the market's going and try to be there before it gets there. So obviously that was my biggest concern with my team, is making sure that it was beneficial to them as well. And so they're excited. They're definitely looking forward to getting things rolling and seeing what the future holds for us.
Absolutely. Well, I think that'll be the conclusion of our show. We've been on here for 30 minutes. We waited for you, Rosie.
Oh,
we
wow.
waited for you, okay?
Hey, good things are worth waiting for, right, Rosie?
What's that?
The good things are worth waiting for.
Yes, yes.
and we save the best for last. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. No, Alan, thank you so much for being on. I truly appreciate it. Again, so I'm honored, bro, to be in business with you. And again, like I mentioned, this is only the beginning. Ms. Rosie and I welcome you to our tribe. And man, I'm excited about what we're going to do this year, brother. And
Awesome.
I'm sure that
both.
can people reach out? Can people reach out to you and ask you questions? Is that cool?
Absolutely. I actually encourage that. Anybody that's watching this, obviously, you know, hit me up. It doesn't matter. Call me, text me, you know, private message me, whatever. I can give you more information. You know, obviously, you see, it took me a while to jump on to the eXp ship, but I actually would love for you guys to, reach out to me, and I'll give you whatever info that you need.
What's your phone number, brother?
Phone number is 562-916.
562-916.
5483.
5483. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
Awesome.
I'm gonna put it on the screen right now so people can take a look at it right there.
Definitely.
And then they can hit you up and give you a call, brother. But
cool.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rosie. Anything? Last words, boss lady. Anything? Last words.
I'm gonna quote the infamous Leo here. I'm gonna say, I'm lit. Like, let's go.
Let's go. Love it. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys.